Hey, this is Shane Trotter, Strength and Conditioning Coordinator at Mansfield High School, and today I'm going to walk through our Hinge progression, which is builds the RDL, and eventually in a different video I'll show it builds the deadlift itself. Okay, most of my teams we kind of stop at RDL just for time's sake, because we don't have enough time to teach everything. So the hip hinge, it's a fundamental movement pattern. Have to be able to teach it. It's a very, very challenging movement to teach. It's absolutely essential though, because in hinging my hips, okay, which is learning how to bend without bending at the back and leaning forward, learning how to bend by pushing hips back, all right, is the hip extension that comes out of there is pretty much the most powerful human body expression. So hip flexion to hip extension is the most powerful human body expression, other than the triple extension, ankles, knees, and hips simultaneously in a jump. So this movement, all right, is how we can load the hip extension movement, okay, so that we can make it an even more explosive jump or any sort of full extension, like a tackle or you know, a broad jump, anything out of that. So you look at what a vertical jump looks like: hip flexion, hip extension. All right, so it's the same movement pattern. So we have to be able to load that pattern. The way I teach it early on is a challenging lift, because athletes are so used to, all right, the way they've picked things up for years and years. Babies do it right. They've forgotten how though, is they just lean over, around at the back, and grab things. Okay, so we have to kind of break that habit and teach them how to push hips back, lower chest to ground. All right, but not lower chest to ground intentionally. Get the chest lower to the ground by pushing the hips back and then up. The shin stays vertical, straight up and down. Okay, knees don't go forward as I bend. They also aren't straight back. Okay, pulling on behind the knees. All right, it's just a very soft knee, pushing the hips back. Okay, kind of like the tired athlete stance. Okay, where we're just laying down like that. So the first way to teach it, you kind of talk through that with them, okay? Then the first thing we'll go to is a wall, okay? We'll call it a wall tap hip hinge. Stu's going to show us that. He's going to get his feet about a shoe length away from the wall, all right? Away from the wall, not the wall squat, the wall tap. So back to the wall. That's right. It's been a while since he had to go through these. About a shoe length away, chest up, shoulders back. Always pull those shoulders back. Okay, and that's going to really maintain that neutral spine, all right? And he's just going to, without his knees going forward, slowly on my count, I'm going to do a 5-second count, and he's going to reach his hips back to touch the wall. And we'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, he's reaching for it, and 1. Good, and he'll come up, he'll push through his heels. Okay, so we kind of manipulate that. It's giving an external cue for the athletes to be able to push their hips forward. Okay, and often that helps. Okay, you can also do it back to back with a partner, and they're pushing towards each other's hips. All right. Once we kind of figure that out, all right, and we have a basis of okay, we're pushing the hips back, not leaning forward. All right. Then I like to move to a goblet hip hinge. Okay. So just going to grab it in a goblet, elbows down, in this goblet position, all right? And he's going to walk up so that his knees his knees are almost touching this bench, okay? This is going to teach him not to go forward with his knees, okay? Because in the RDL, we don't want those knees jutting forward first. It's not a squat. It's minimal knee bend with maximal hip bend. So he's going to get under there, and he's going to push his hips back. Push his hips back, push his hips back. He'll stop, parallel the ground. They don't necessarily have to get back parallel the ground. That's a goal. Some of them don't have the hamstring flexibility to do this, but this is a perfect hinge, and he will push through his heel and thrust at the top. Very important that he pushes through heels and thrusts at the top. After that, if you walk around, after that, we'll have Stu, and I'll have him stand from the side so you can kind of see what it looks like from the side. We'll have him just hang, all right? We do a kettlebell RDL. So here, this is the RDL movement, okay? Which stands for Romanian deadlift. All right, his chest is up, his shoulders are squeezed back, okay? Again, that's going to set that neutral spine. He's actually going to keep his neck long too. Kind of varying reports of what's best. I like to keep a neutral neck, tuck the chin, All right, in training we can actually have them hold a tennis ball there to keep that. Don't want to look down or up too much. All right, but that's supposed, there are reports that that's going to help increase neural drive. All right, and he will push hips back, not leaning forward, pushing hips back. All right, and he gets there. I always say, pretend that you have tissue paper under your armpits. Okay, so you see the bell's not hanging way up there. It's right. It would go right down between his feet. He's holding. He's quaking right now. All right, because he's really pulling, utilizing those lats, and pretending he has tissue paper under the armpits. All right, and push through those heels, and he'll fire through. Okay, we'll go one more. All right, I always remind them again, shoulders back. Again, tissue paper under the armpits. Okay, you're holding that in. Okay, down, 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 down. Always slow on the way down. Always remind them to stay on their heels, stay on your heels, stay on your heels. Should be able to pick up his toes right there, and he's going to fire through his heels and thrust through that bell. Go ahead and put it down, that's fine. So tissue paper on the armpit is a great cue to help pull them back and not let those arms get too far away from them. You be fun with it. Pretend to, tell the kids, when you have a gray shirt, okay, and you sweat and all that good stuff, that's how you prevent it. All right, and then he's going to come over to the barbell RDL where we can really start to load it even more. I always tell them starting off, my feet should be right under the smooth part of the bar. Okay, the bar's got very gritty parts and it's got these smooth parts. Well, the bar, okay, needs to stay in contact with your body the whole way. So you're going to want the smooth part in contact. You don't want your hands to go over your knees either, forcing the bar away from you. All right, so the hands are going to need to be wide, feet just under the smooth part of the bar. Okay, I'm going to have him grab with an alternated grip too. One hand under, one over, so that the grip strength is not a limiting factor in this lift. He's going to shimmy back slightly, chest up, shoulders back, okay? And, again, he's tucking that chin, and the bar is going to come down, straight down his body, all right, in contact with his body, right to there, okay? A lot of kids won't get chest that low. It's not important that he gets chest that low. It's not important if they have 45s on each side that the bar hits the ground, because everyone has different levels of hamstring flexibility. What's important is that his weight's on his heels, okay? He's got the tissue paper under his armpits, his chest is up, his shoulders are back, good neutral spine, all right, chin tucked, all right, and that as he comes up, he explodes up, pushing through heels, and he's thrusted, all right, he's fully extended there through the bar. He doesn't finish here, he finishes through the bar. Very important at the end that you get all the way fully extended. All right, he'll go one more time again, hips back, hips back, hips back, hips back, and hips through. Okay, so the way I often do this with big groups is I like to do it on a tempo. I like to pause them. I like them to be able to feel the positions. All right, so we'll have him go down one more time. I'll show kind of some common faults. All right, he'll go down, 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 stop. And what I often see, okay, as a kid will rock forward on his toes like this. Okay, not horrible, not the worst thing in the world. At least he's got this neutral spine. Right, and I like to just take a hand on the knee, hand on the shoulder, and I'm going to push, okay, those hips back and up, okay? And they'll normally notice a big stretch through that hamstring now, all right? And now he can push through heels and thrust, right? One more fault and fix I'll show you. Go ahead down again, sorry, Stu. All right, one more fault and fix is you'll see them kind of bend elbows and yank that bar up, okay, as they're coming up, okay? Let them know those arms are fully extended. They're chains, okay? You lock that shoulder in place, and now it's just connecting you to the bar, okay? The load needs to be through the hamstring, really training that extension pattern that we're going to use, all right, for really every powerful movement we do on the field of play, all right? That is our hip hinge progression all the way up to the RDL. We can advance it more with a deadlift. You can really advance things a lot more when you get to power cleans, when you get to med ball throws. So there's a lot of ways to advance and build off this. But the hip hinge pattern is absolutely essential for everything, even leading up to the jump progression. Okay, so having a good hip hinge and athletes knowing how to hip hinge, working up to that RDL, is an essential part of every program. I hope that helped. Thanks, and have a good day. All right, Stu.